Hey, this is a Richard Sherman podcast brought to you by Super Draft Fantasy, the official fantasy partner of Caesar Rewards. To all my PFF listeners, it's time to get hooked up when you play. Get a $10 bonus when you deposit 10 by using the code PFF at registration. Just download Super Draft and start playing games like Super 15. Get your hands on some cash prizes, Caesar Rewards credits, and more. We're even hooking you up with free PFF Elite subscription when you sign up. Just download the Super Draft app on Apple or Play Store. Use the code PFF when you create an account, deposit $10, and get a free PFF Elite subscription. The offer is only eligible for new accounts. Super Draft paid fantasy contests are available in 34 states. Must be 18 or older to play. Paid contests in most states. Visit superdraft.io for all eligibility restrictions.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. Don't you ever talk about me.
Picked off. It is Richard Sherman.
It's picked off by Sherman. Now, buckle up. Here he goes.
And it is intercepted by Richard Sherman. Broken up. Picked off. This game is over.
Welcome to the Richard Sherman podcast. Another week of chaos in the offseason. Arguably one of the craziest off seasons in recent memory. Got my guy Mitch Eisenstein. Mitchell, what's going on?
Richard, all I can think about is if you were in a coma for the last 2 months and you just woke up and just saw, oh, hey, Davante Adams got traded. Tyreek Hill just got traded. Deshaun Watson got traded. Matt Ryan got traded. Von Miller signed with the Bills. You know, what would be going through your mind? Like, this is absolute chaos. Most active offseason ever.
You would think you're on drugs and still in some kind of dreamlike state because the NFL does not happen in this way. Big time receivers, especially number ones who are in their prime, rarely ever get traded, and especially for the amount of picks and things. But draft capital isn't what it used to be. You know, I mean, after Green Bay signed A-Rod, the expectation, I mean, you almost took it for granted that Davante was going to be there. You know, we had him on the cast before, and we talked about the next year, and it seemed like he and A-Rod were tied to a string. And lo and behold, there were conversations with Carr, and we talked about that briefly, but I didn't think it was anything crazy. That was wild. The Tyreek Hill trade. Hey, you saw Davante get paid crazy money. You want money. Yeah, I understand. I want to go to Miami and I want to get paid silly amounts of money. He made incredible runs with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he felt like his time there was up. The Browns were not in the Deshaun Watson conversation. They weren't. They were out. But given a fully guaranteed deal, regardless of what happens with this pending case, would make anybody second guess and say dog pound. And well, Richard, with Von Miller, I mean, it's a 3-year deal.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the most recent happenings of this week. Tyreek Hill traded yesterday for a smorgasbord of picks, goes to now what seems like a pretty daunting defense or offense in Miami. You know, you couple him with Waddle and the running backs they've added, your boy Raheem Mostert and a couple other guys that they got. Now Miami looks formidable. They look like they could be a problem. And now they've given Tua the weapons that, you know, frankly, if he fails with these weapons, I don't know who he's going to succeed with. Let's start with on Miami's side of the fence, and then I want you to hear your thoughts about what happened to KC. So what are your thoughts with doing this from Miami's standpoint?
From Miami's standpoint, they got a new head coach and, you know, a new coordinator, and they're going to run an offense similar to what you know, Kyle's system is run with the Rams and Green Bay, and, you know, and they felt like they needed a threat. They needed a receiver that could catch and run, like Deebo Samuels does in San Francisco, like Davante Adams does in Green Bay, like Cooper Kupp does for the Rams, and like Jamar Chase does for Cincinnati. And they got that. They got what they were looking for, and they didn't see that in the draft. I think Kansas City felt like they could get the desired flexibility that they were looking for financially, and they could find somebody comparable to Tyreek Hill. Honestly, they probably have their eyes on somebody already who they say, he can pretty much do what Tyreek does. Now, is that kind of a slap in the face to Tyreek Hill? No question, because is he, proven asset versus potential asset? It's always that argument, always that battle of production versus potential. And right now, Kansas City's going with the potential to replace them.
You don't just simply replace Tyreek Hill. I mean, he is the cheetah for the reason. And you've seen him firsthand a handful of times throughout your career. And you've always said it's a lot different lining up against a guy like Tyreek Hill. When he gets a step behind you, he's gone. So, I mean, how does Kansas City replace this? They just signed Juju Smith-Schuster, which, I mean, let's be honest, that's not going to be it. They just accrued another first-round pick. My guess is they go wide receiver in the draft. But what is it? What effect does this have on Patrick Mahomes? How much extra pressure does this create on him? Do you see them winning the AFC West, or are they 2 steps behind?
They're not 2 steps behind, but they definitely evened out the playing field. They do not have a sizable lead or a lead at all anymore. And that's the point, because everybody else has gotten better. The LA Chargers are better. You know, adding Khalil Mack, their offense was already formidable. Paid Mike Williams. They already have tight ends. They got another tight end in Gerald Everett. They have weapons. Austin Eckler has had repeated great seasons. The quarterback is only going to get better. Defensively, they have the pass rushers, and they have the secondary now with J.C. Jackson. Derwin James is already a Pro Bowler. You better keep a Bosa if you want to win the AFC West, or if you want to win in this league. And then you talk about what Denver did with trading for Russell Wilson, and what they have on offense. They would have loved to get Von Miller back. I think they have a ways to go, based off what everybody else did, because the Raiders got better. Davante Adams, still arguably the best receiver in the National Football League, the hardest to stop week in and week out. And I'm sure the corners for the Chargers and the Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs aren't very excited to have him in their conference, in their division. I think that makes them a ton better. I think that puts them in a discussion for being the best team, along with Chandler Jones on defense. And I just think it's hard, man. It's hard to understand from like a fanship if you just take up and just look. Tyreek Hill has been so valuable. But from a team perspective, were you really going to pay him $25 million, $30 million? No, you weren't going to cripple your team like that. And could you get a receiver with a tremendous amount of speed that can come into your system and do well? Yes, you can do that. And he'd be a fraction of the cost. And I think that's what they're thinking.
Well, they've got Mecole Hardman. Hopefully he can step up next year. But Richard, we've seen 2 interesting parallels here. You see Aaron Rodgers get this massive contract and Davante Adams has to leave. He's a cap casualty. And then you see Mahomes, like his extension is starting to take a big effect. I don't know what his cap hit is this year, but I know it's north of $40 million. When you have that sizable amount of a cap hit, there are going to be casualties with this team. And unfortunately, Tyreek is that casualty. Now we move over to the Packers. Aaron Rodgers wants to sail off into the sunset with the Green Bay Packers, but wants to win. And he has prioritized winning. But he also prioritized getting paid. And in doing so, he lost his wingman, Davante Adams. Start with the Packers side of things. And I know they've been talking with Jarvis Landry, and there's been some rumblings about potentially him and Odell teaming up to go to the Pack. But where does Green Bay go from here?
I have no idea. It's been so long since the Green Bay Packers were without Davante Adams. It's been so long. So we've seen what they look like without Davante Adams, and A-Rod was still able to win the game. He's still able to get some wins, but there's not a lot of fear out there without Davante Adams. There's nobody that fears Green Bay Packers. They're the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions sleep a lot better right now knowing that Davante Adams is elsewhere. And it almost makes A-Rod human, because Davante and he were a dynamic duo. And without the other part of the duo, it's not as dynamic. Is Aaron Rodgers still a Hall of Fame, 4-time MVP who can take over a game? No question about it. Is it harder to take over a game without the best receiver in the National Football League? No doubt about it. And I think that's where the NFC North, for the first time in a very long time, is going to be up in the air.
And I love it, Rich. I absolutely love it. It's funny. I saw on Instagram, I think it was NFL, or it might have even been PFF posted it. And they said, who won this trade? between the Raiders and Green Bay. And the Detroit Lions had commented on the post, and just with the simple hands up. And I don't deny it. I think every other team in that division won that trade outside of the Green Bay Packers, because now they do not have to deal with that man. But then you look at the Raiders, and the Raiders are building something special now, right? I mean, they've added Chandler Jones. They've got, him and Max Crosby, bookends, like getting after the quarterback. Their defense is going to be ferocious. And now you add a dynamic piece to this offense, coupled with, already some solid pieces with Darren Waller and a handful of other folks, good running backs, good offensive line. They might be a sleeper to make some noise right now.
The Raiders are always a wild card team. I mean, a wild card in every sense of the word. I think they were a wild card playoff team last year, but they're a wild card. Like, you don't know what to expect. There are years where they win 5-6 games, but they got 2 wins against the Kansas City Chiefs who win the Super Bowl. There are years where they're in some games where you're like, wait, how are they doing this? And it's because their quarterback can be an elite quarterback at times, and then at times he can be a head scratcher where you're like, I don't understand why you made those decisions, but his ceiling is up there. And with Davante Adams and their familiarity from college, from Fresno State, you expect that connection to not just be one of those that they're going to have to ease their way into it. They go way back, and I'm sure they used to work out in the offseason, and their connection, I'm sure A-Rod will feel a way about it, but their connection is probably somewhere around there. They had an amazing rapport, and Davante caught a lot of grabs and had a lot of production at Fresno State. And so we're going to see.
Now let's talk about some of the guys that have yet to sign. I want to ask you about Bobby Wagner, but I know you're not going to say anything about him. Too much respect there that you don't want to tip too much information off. But Stephon Gilmore is still alive and kicking in the free agency market. Do you still see him going out West Coast? I know the Seahawks just signed Justin Coleman. You had mentioned that the Seahawks might be a good fit for him. Where do you think he goes from here?
Well, I thought, and I still think that, I thought San Francisco before they got Charvarius Ward. I thought Seattle before they jettisoned their entire all the Pro Bowlers and All Pros off their roster outside of Quandre Diggs. And so I can't call it right now. It's up in the air. And I think that's why he's being patient, because there's so many huge waves happening day in and day out, and I'm sure he wants to go to a team that's going to be a championship contender. And teams are literally mortgaging away their championship future at times. Green Bay, I don't know if people consider, Zadarius Smith is gone, Davante is gone. It's going to be a different team than people are used to seeing. And I know you still have A-Rod, but to just assume they're going to be championship contenders is not, it's not what it used to be. It's not an easy bet anymore. And so I think he's waiting. He's being patient. He's taking his time, and he wants to get his money. He was a Pro Bowler last year, even though he only played a few games in the season.
How much do you think him waiting, a lot of guys waiting for the right deal, what do you think that impacts their negotiating power as money gets eaten up by other free agents?
Well, it's, as you see, the cap maneuvering can happen at any time, and teams can make money happen, and they can create space when they need to. And I think he'll be fine. And I don't think that's one of those things that he's concerned about necessarily. I think that the right team and the right opportunity in the right environment, and the money will make sense. Teams can put voidable years on and do what they need to do to make his money fit under the cap. I think he would prefer that than jumping the gun early and ending up somewhere he doesn't want to be. Now, if they get him to the Las Vegas Raiders, these conversations become a lot different. And that AFC West is already really strong. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. They will be.
All right, so let's focus on one more recent free agent signing, and then we're going to turn it over to you and Roger McCreary. Von Miller surprised a lot of folks by going to the Buffalo Bills. I think most people thought he was either going to stay with the Rams or head back home to Denver. He signs a monster 3-year deal. I know there's some maneuverability there on Buffalo's side to get out of that contract, but here you have it. Von Miller signing with the Bills. First off, I want to know what kind of impact you think he has on the Bills. Does he put them over the edge? And second off, like we talked about last time, that type of deal absolutely makes a mockery of DeMarcus Lawrence's 4-year, $40 million guaranteed deal. You know, talk to me about Richard Sherman, the agent, looking at Von Miller's, deal that he just signed and critiquing that, and talk to me about how he impacts the Buffalo Bills.
I think Buffalo had a championship roster and had a chance to win a championship last year. You know, the overtime rules, they didn't get a chance to get the ball back. Josh Allen playing his best football. Who knows? I think they would have had a chance to win a Super Bowl last year without Von Miller. Von Miller brings a different element to that defense, and they were the number one defense in football before he ever came. They don't need him. He is a luxury. He is a luxury. He is 24-inch rims on a Rolls Royce truck. Like it is an unnecessary luxury, but it's going to make them look a lot better and going to make them a lot better of a team because of not just because of his on the field impact, but his off the field impact, his leadership, his understanding of pass rushing. He will get those guys better in that way. His championship pedigree. You know, people, some guys don't have that. You know, some guys, they can be on championship teams and not having a championship effect on the next team they're on. He's not one of those guys. He's going to bring that. It's a reason he has the most sacks in Super Bowl history, tied for the most sacks in Super Bowl history in the Super Bowl. He's an impact player, and it really shows, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Buffalo wasn't in the cards for him, but if you pay him enough money, they're going to be in the cards. They're in the cards. Are you happy to, you know?
That snow feels like sunshine with that paycheck cashing, right? Right.
They calling him Von Biller now.
He's going to fit right in with Bills Mafia. I mean, what do you think of the deal? Like the way it's structured, I don't know how much you know about the way it's structured, but what do you think of the deal he signed?
I think it's an awesome deal. You know, I think it's front loaded. I think he almost got his first 3 years guaranteed. That's all he wanted. You know, I mean, he's not early in his career. He's in the later part of his career. 3 years guaranteed. That's all he wanted. He didn't need to fluff. And like you said, I mean, you would expect guys to get deals like this, even if they're like, hey, you're not gonna get it all fully guaranteed, but you only need the first 3 years fully guaranteed. That's your deal. Like, it's a 6-year deal with 3 fluff years, but the first 3 years guaranteed. Thanks. That's what we're looking for. After that, it's neither party is interested in continuing. And if we are, we'll talk about it then. Understand, I'm not showing up in year 4 without it changed. And I think the team and a lot of times the language in those contracts state that.
Well, Richard, we've got another special guest as we continue this, I think, rather unique breakdown leading up to the draft, having you jump in with some of the rookie DBs. This week, it's going to be Roger McCreary from Auburn. A lot of mock drafts have him going late first round. What do you like about his game?
I like his press. I like his press technique. I think he's a bigger corner. I think he does a great job at the catch point. He's very violent at the point of attack. And I think he can compete at a high level in this league. I think in the biggest games that he played against Bama, against LSU, against some of the receivers that end up being top draft picks later on, he played really well. You know, he played competitively. I think he gave up some balls against Jamar Chase, but as you can see, the entire league gave up some balls against Jamar Chase. So I think he got to play against NFL level talent week in and week out, and I'm excited to have a conversation with him and pick his brain.
Well, Richard, we're going to let you and Roger jump on the podcast here next. Thank you guys so much for joining us again this week.
Thank you very much, Mitchell. Always a pleasure. Can't wait to have Roger on. We'll see you next week, Mitch.
Hey, this is a Richard Sherman podcast brought to you by Super Draft Fantasy, the official fantasy partner of Caesar Rewards. To all my PFF listeners, it's time to get hooked up when you play. Get a $10 bonus when you deposit 10 by using the code PFF at registration. Just download Super Draft and start playing games like Super 15. Get your hands on some cash prizes, Caesar Rewards credits, and more. We're even hooking you up with free PFF Elite subscription when you sign up. Just download the Super Draft app on Apple or Play Store. Use the code PFF when you create an account, deposit $10, and get a free PFF Elite subscription. The offer is only eligible for new accounts. Super Draft paid fantasy contests are available in 34 states. Must be 18 or older to play. Paid contests in most states. Visit superdraft.io for all eligibility restrictions.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. It's the Super Draft Super 15 contest. Obviously, you know what we're doing. We're doing the overs and the unders this week, starting with the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Over under 32.5 versus the Wizards. It has to be under. It has to be. Giannis has to be. I don't need you going over. Just take a rest. Should be up early. I'm going to use Mitch's strategy. You guys should be up early
the BS
and go sit down.
Stealing my strategy, but I respect it.
Cavs, Darius Garland, a young pup wanting to make his impact in this league. I see him going over 23.5, probably on 22 shots. I don't know. The Wizards, Kristaps Porzingis, over under 20.5. Well, he killed my Lakers, so I got him over.
Richard, I had to laugh, man, because I was pretty spot on last week. I even texted you. I had KD under, and a lot of you questioned me, and I didn't question myself. I told you point blank, they're going to be absolutely destroying the Magic at half. I think they were up 30. And KD, I think, had about 17 points. And I think he played about 5 minutes in the second half. And I'm glad I won that. And then I told you, I warned you about Jimmy Butler playing my Pistons, and you didn't listen to me. And sure enough, I was right on that one as well. So I'm happy to return to the winning column this week, or last week, and I'm happy to continue that streak this week. You made a mistake. Giannis Antetokounmpo against the Wizards. He's going over. This guy is the Greek freak for a reason. I don't need any other explanation than that. They're going to lock into championship mode again. The guy's going to drop 40 tonight. So that is a statement of fact. Next to Darius Garland, it's been a great year for him. The Cavs have seemed to rise back up to a level of competitiveness, and he's been at the forefront of it. But he's going under. There's no way he's scoring above 23.5 points, and that's that. And then Kristaps Porzingis, I didn't even know the guy was still in the league. I thought he was this is his fourth team now. He's going under. I think he's going to put up 15 points, and that'll be that. So, Richard, this will be 2 times in a row that I win this, and I'm excited to be back in the winning column.
Don't be so confident about that, Mitchell. This is going to be my win. Obviously, this is what I do. If you guys want to do this as well, use the code PFF at registration. Keyword at registration. If you're not registering, don't use the code because it will not work. No credit cards required to claim the offer. Offer only eligible to new accounts, as I just said. But get your picks in. Catch us next week. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Can't wait to see you. Hey, welcome. It's the Richard Sherman podcast. We got one of the best corners in the draft, Roger McCreary, joining me from Auburn. Auburn didn't put some out over the years. I done met a couple good ones. T. Reed, Nico, recently Jamel Dean, and Carlton Davis just got his money. I mean, y'all didn't put him out. So how you feeling going into this process?
I feel great just going to the process at the next level. Them guys that you said, I feel like they had me throughout the whole way, especially T. Reed. He working at Auburn now. He just tell me like how the game go and everything. He just give me his wisdom, and I just soak it all in. And I just feel like those guys that you said, I feel like they helped me a lot in my college career, and I feel like I'm ready going to the next level. Yeah.
I mean, you look like it. Your tape looks good. You made a heck of a lot of plays. You dropped a few. We ain't gonna talk about that. But, but I really respect your tech. You switch it all up. You press. You do a good job at the line. You do a good job of soft shoeing sometimes. Sometimes you kind of step and do this little hop. You play this like butt to the sideline, like bailout technique that I play a lot. But sometimes that's why I got you on, because I got some questions, because I want to know where your eyes is at. Because sometimes it looks like, all right, you reading QB 3-step and you breaking, and I can tell off your breaks. And then other times it looks like you're looking at the receiver, and other times it look like you just might be drifting out there. So we're going to get to the bottom of all this.
Yeah, that's it.
Got to. You got any questions for me or anything, man? Because I got a ton of respect for your game, but, you may not know nothing about me.
Oh, no, sir. I don't got no question. I'm just happy to just be here, just speak with you.
I appreciate that. I got a lot of respect for you, man, and I'm excited for you. What were they saying you projected at this point?
Late first round, second round.
Okay. How you feeling about that?
I really don't care about it, really. I don't try to, like, suck it all in. I just want to get that one phone call, really.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Is there a specific system you want to go to at this point in time?
No, sir.
What were y'all playing at Auburn? What coverages? What was y'all base?
I was based on, it was a 4-3. We mainly did match 3. That was our basic coverage right there.
Okay, so match 3, explain it to me, because people played match 3 different. If a crosser across the middle, I mean, if a deep over across the middle field safety cutting it, you climbing?
Yeah, that type of match 3, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you play butt to the sideline sometimes, so you bailing if 2 displaced.
Well, yeah, it depends on like the situation where the receivers align that, or just the formation. Like if it's condensed sets, that's when we'll do like the pass out deep overall. So we'll climb about the other corner on overalls and stuff.
Okay. What and I saw a couple times, because the nickel kind of carries 2 too, which was kind of weird to me. Because you be bailing out of there and you get a vertical from 2 and want to sit down, but the nickel will keep carrying it until he hears you call him off.
Oh yeah, sometimes the two carry the nickel carry the 2 vertical out. Sometimes that's what he do. It depends on the call that we got.
Okay. And is that I mean, I'm sure y'all played man. I saw you play a little bit of everything. Is that like the preference you would want to at the next level? I mean, I'm not trying to push you into a pocket or anything, but yeah. I mean, it seems like what you're really good at.
Oh yeah, I love man, but like in the league, I know I'm have to play more than just man. So it really don't matter what system I go into, because I played it all in college.
Right. You play a little bit of everything.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Well, give me a scouting report on yourself. If you could give me a scouting report and you going against yourself, like, what do you do well? What do you not do well? What do you feel like you working on this offseason to make sure you're better at it at the next level?
I would say a report on myself. I would say my strengths. I'm a guy who firm at the line, who frames the line, who's quick, who's competitive, follow receiver no matter what, change of directions. I can recognize plays on the zone. I can disguise stuff, make it seem like I'm playing off, and actually I'm playing cover 2 or something at the 5-yard line. I can really disguise a lot of stuff. And that way, I can come down and tackle on the outside edge and everything. And I say my weaknesses is at certain times off outside releases, I won't get hands on my receivers sometimes. So they'll do a speed release and that kind of get the best of me sometimes. And that was one thing, that was my downfall, that and my eye discipline.
So when you talk about they giving you an outside release, what path do you take when they give you an outside release? Like, okay, this is me and the receiver. If he gives me this and he goes out here and I follow him, that's different than if he gives me this and I go cut him off where he's going. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Which one do you do?
I'm the one that cut him off 45. So like when they do the speed release, I cancel like all my shuffle into that. I just open up, cut him off at 45.
Why do you always, not always, I don't want to generalize like that, because sometimes you do turn and lift the ball. But why do you?
It depends on the speed of the receiver. If he's a quick guy, I know I'm going to have to get on top early, cut him off 45. But if he's like a guy that I know I'm faster than, I can still shuffle and put my hands up on it, even if he did a speed release.
Right. Why do you look into? Why do you look into the receiver on your 9 routes majority of the time, and then every now and then you look for the ball and it looks like you got him pushed to the sideline? It's perfect tech.
Oh yeah. When they do the speed release and I'm going my 45, I'm really playing, but like I'm cutting everything off from the inside. Say they do speed release and they try to cut back inside with a slant or a dig route. I'll stop there just from playing inside. So I'll just look at the speed of the person. If he's pushing speed fast, that's when I read his heels. I'll cancel routes like from 5, like from the 0 to the 5 or 8. They do a quick hitch or some. It depends on game situation. They'll do back shoulders at the line or 5-yard routes, or once he passed the 10, that's when he really get into his routes and stuff like post or just deep 9-ball and stuff. That's what I do. I cancel routes as he go on.
That's a great mentality. That's a great way to break it down, and that's understandable, especially outside releases. Inside releases, what is your mindset?
Inside releases, that's another thing. Inside releasing, it happened really fast because inside he either doing like sometimes when guys cut inside and it seems like they're not going into their route, that sometimes they push off. That's when receivers do a lot of push off. So I'll play outside. Sometimes they do a quick slant or quick dead route, but sometimes I really don't care about the inside route because I have my help from my safety. So they kind of cancel everything. So really, I just play outside, like protect the 7, or like the post play outside and help the safety and everything.
Right, play top shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, which corners, I know you watch some corners in the league. Who you think you modeling your game after?
I would say the person I model my game after, I would say Trey White. Trey White, and I love Jair too.
I can see it both. I mean, you kind of built more like Trey White. You kind of, got some size about you. I like your off technique. Outside of Trey get his hands on him, he grabbing him now. Trey get his hands on him, he grabbing him. So you played against great that's why I think a lot of people have you high in this draft and have a lot of respect, and the scouts are because you played against league competition every week in and week out. You played against some of the top receivers in the draft that's gone in the draft the last couple years, from Bama, from LSU, from Georgia. Arkansas got a couple. Tennessee, Juwan Jennings never get enough credit, but how was that? How was that? I mean, it got to feel like it ain't going to feel much different in the league for you, because you're going to go against that every week too. Every week you're going to look up. Somebody got somebody.
Oh, yeah. But on just that I feel like SEC prepared me for the next level, because I went against every type of receiver on just big, fast guys, big, physical guys, short, quick guys who change the direction quick and everything. I feel like I experienced it all. So I feel like going to the next level, that helped me a lot. And I'm really confident going to the next level.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna jump off the tape and ask you a little question that piqued my curiosity. Somebody said you eat a full can of beans and 8 sugar packets before every game. What is that diet?
Growing up, my grandma used to always, family barbecue. She used to always cook the little macaroni, the baked beans, and the ribs and everything. And baked beans always was the leftovers after. So I used to always eat that, and it just carry on growing up. It carry on. My grandma make a whole pot of baked beans just for me, and the other pot for everybody at the party. That's how much I used to love it. And just finally, when I got to Auburn, it was no baked beans, and I kept asking them, and finally they put it on the little pregame meal. I've been eating it ever since. Like, they got it just for me, the sugar, everything.
I love that. That's super love, man. And you didn't even play corner in high school or anything, like?
No, sir.
How'd you get to Auburn and start playing corner?
Oh, yeah, that was one of the craziest things about it. In high school, I grew up in a little harsh little neighborhood. My school only had like 22 kids on the football team, really, that played both sides. So we had 22 kids. So I was playing quarterback, running back, receiver, safety, outside linebacker, kicker, punter. I did a lot of stuff. And a lot of school was giving me a scholarship for safety. Nobody gave me a scholarship for offense. Everybody was getting a scholarship for safety. And Auburn just wanted me because I had speed. So they wanted me at corner. It was a little hard decision for me, but a lot of people told me corner is the best position for me. Like, that's what the money at. And I just trust my people. And that's why I just went into it.
As you should. And they right. They advised you correctly. Corner is where the money is. I mean, if you do it right in 10 years, I guarantee you're going to be thanking all those people like, you know what? That was a great call. Everybody want the ball. Everybody want to play offense. But if you can go a whole game and a boy not catch a ball on your side of the field, your pocket's going to look exactly like they should. But I want to talk to you a little more about your upbringing. You said you was raised in a tough neighborhood. You got both parents. You got your mom. You got your dad. What's going on, and how did that affect everything growing up?
I grew up with a single mother. I didn't know who my father was until I was in the 9th grade. How I grew up, my mom is my why. She had me like growing up in the neighborhood. It was a little harsh. I grew up with a lot of talented kids, but they made bad decisions because of the situation they lived in. But my mom, she didn't make the hood like that. Like, she had me busy with sports a lot. I played basketball, football, baseball, soccer. I did a lot of stuff. She kept me busy. And she used to play football. So that was one thing. But my mom I didn't get my talent from my dad. I got it from my mom. My dad was the pretty boy. my mom played linebacker. They call it ice box. So like she the one who put that toughness in me. Just a strong, independent mom who took care of my sister and my 3 cousins. That's the reason why I got through it, I say.
No question. That's incredible. You know, I mean, going through high school, and she's still working, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, keep grinding. I promise you, you do like you're supposed to. You take this game serious at the next level. You focus like you've been doing. The game ain't too big for you. It's not going to be too much for you, and you're gonna be able to realize your dreams of showing her everything you wanted to show her. In high school, did y'all win anything?
My championship?
Yeah.
The best thing we ever won was going to the playoff. That's the best thing that happened to the football team.
Hey, that's real.
Best.
What division was y'all? Had to be small school division with 22 kids on team.
It was like only 22 playing. We had like 30 on team though. But only 22 was playing.
Right.
But we was 5A though.
Oh, so 5A is the biggest.
No, 7A is the biggest.
Okay. Each state different.
Yeah.
Okay, then you go play big time SEC football, and now you didn't work hard enough, and now you're considered a first round corner. That ain't a bad way of looking at it. How do you go about looking at teams and looking at tape and breaking it down? Do you go, down in distance, break down third down tape, first and second down tape? Do you do it on parts of the field, like between the 40s, red zone, backed up, et cetera, et cetera?
But looking at film on teams, I do a lot like that. Mainly, I look at the third down situations. That's the main thing, because I speak the number one receiver, and I feel like that's when a lot of offense like teams put out their real playbook is that third down situation. That was the main thing. So I always did number one receiver. Other things I look at red zones, like you said, red zone, the high red, the low red, just like the plays that they do a lot. That's what we look at the most. Especially my main focus would be the receiver too. I look at his weaknesses, his strengths, and everything, because depending on him, that's the technique that I'm gonna play. Like I play different techniques each game, depending on the receiver.
No question. What I would say is be careful with that. Be careful with that, because I can understand it treating each receiver individually, but if they can dictate how you play in the game based off of them, it becomes a tough situation in the league. People start to figure it out, like, oh, he plays small receivers like this. Oh, when receivers is fast, he give him space, or he does this.
Yeah, that's what I learned. But I don't play every short, quick receiver the same. Like in my college career, when I look at people, I'll look at this cornerback that might have an effect on them, like a little game, and I'll see the technique he used, and I'll use that. But depending on the game in certain situations, I won't use that same technique every time, because say if it's third and long, I'm gonna play a little bit off. I'm gonna play a little bit different. Or third and short, I'm gonna play different. It's just
okay. So P and 10, no D&D situation. Game on the line though. What tech you playing?
Oh, that's technique I use from the start. Oh, you want
from the start, the step kick.
Oh yeah. That's the day one right there.
Right. So that's your foundation. So my advice would be, no matter what, don't let nobody move you off your foundation if you won't have to. You know what I mean? Sometimes you go against people and you step in it and it don't work against them. And you're like, hey, all right, got to switch it up a little bit. This kid got something for it. Respect.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, to be great, you got to dang near impose your will on everybody. You got to let them play at your pace. Like, hey, you going to play how I'm playing today. I hear how you released against such and such over there and such over there, but when you come over here, I know how I'm going to play, and I know you're going to change. You're not about to come into my space without these hands getting put on you.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir.
And I really like your off. I like your bail tech, but I just don't. I want to know your process. Like when you bailing out, where your eyes going?
It depends on the situation. Let's say if I'm a zone corner, we always show we impressed, and when I bail, my eyes being on number two seeing through the quarterback. That's what it is. And if I'm a man, I will bail and I look directly at my man.
So you stand as high as 2, no matter what. Now, if two slant, then where I'm going.
If 2 slant, my eyes back on 1.
Okay. And what are you expecting 1 to do?
I'm expecting it depends on the alignment with where they at and everything. But I'm gonna be outside on them just to see just so he won't get out of my blind rearview mirror or anything.
Right.
So I would expect him to do what. It really depends on the alignment of where he at and formation and everything.
Now, I don't know if you keeping him all the way outside, because I saw a couple clips where they seamed you up and you did perfect. You did a perfect job of splitting him. You did a perfect job of 80-20.
Oh, yeah, if two push vertical, yeah. But yeah, if the two cancel, yeah, that's when I just stick to one.
Yeah, so am I snapping the one, snapping the eyes to one, and guarding him like man?
You talking about once two cancel?
Yeah.
Oh yes, sir.
Okay.
That's the only threat in my zone.
Yeah, we would have some fun having some conversations especially about three. I made a lot of living off of playing three and playing it exactly how you play, but my thought process is a little different. Like I would understand what one was doing based off two.
Okay.
Like if because in the league everything's married. Every play, every combination is married to something. If one's going vertical, then if two's going vertical, one can only be doing a couple things. He either hitching, running a 15-yard in, which is called dagger. He's going vertical, or he's running comeback. Like it's rarely a time he's doing anything but that. So once two goes vertical, and I kind of feel one, if I feel him sit down, like I'm damn near overlapping two off the jump, unless I feel one going past 15, and ain't nobody looking at one. I got burned on that one time. I got one through it where they caught me on the outside, caught me leaning.
So when you said the two did a slant, what would you predict one do?
Slant. In the league, we call it they call it lion. Yeah. It's like double slant. Okay. And now if two go to the flat, I'm expecting one to come in.
Yeah. That's my main one right there. I love that one.
Yeah.
That too.
It translates to the league. They run that in the league. And it's just like if two runs a 7, one's probably running a hitch or a crash route or something to clear out so that 7 can come behind you. They attack 2, they attack 3 like that. They attack a lot of stuff, and they're just trying to stretch that nickel out. Or if you're getting an over route, like a deep over from 2, then one coming in, he either running a dig or he running a post. Like, and so my alignment is based on that. Like I adjust throughout based on that. If I see 2 running that over route, you're gonna see me start to tuck myself inside and high and be ready to break down heel on that dig and stay high if he run that post. Now, every blue moon, they'll run like a comeback just to be like, switch it up and be like, you ain't got us on every time. But in reality, y'all just doing that to throw me off.
Yeah.
So I would say keep that mentality and just keep trying to understand how combinations are married together.
Sir.
Where you going to be at draft day?
I'm going to be home, celebrating with the family.
As you should. It's a dream come true. Did you have any team you meet with any teams or?
Yeah, meet with any teams like what?
Like fly out and meet with any team, meet them over Zoom?
Yeah, I mean on Zoom calls. Okay.
They might not be doing the fly-ins and stuff because of COVID, or maybe they just ain't started yet. It's still March. That's great. That's cool though, man. What did you think of the combine?
The combine, I feel like that was a great experience, but it's not what a lot of people see on TV growing up. I'm thinking, this what I'm gonna do behind the scenes. It's a lot.
It's fake. It's fake.
They got the test, the hospitals, all that. I was at the hospital like about 4 hours, and it was
how many MRIs they give you?
Them gave me 2. The dude that was for me had like 7, so I was down for 4 hours just waiting. But yeah,
one dude had 12.
12. I say it's all mental though. Like it's a lot of walking. You're not seeing your room until 12 or 11. It's just a lot. But throughout that whole process, I feel like it's great though, because actually meeting the coaching and just to see like how they is great, and just seeing the other players and get to learn from them. I feel like just the whole experience is great though.
As it is, man. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about the process of just being calm and just kind of going with the flow. Even like the physical on the field part, you don't get to do as you think you're going to get to do it. You know what I mean? Like you think, oh man, I'm going to be training hard. And then on the last day, I'm going to get a chance to finally show them. And you don't get to train at all. And you don't run to the last day. And then they're like, now run. You ain't trained your 40. You ain't been jumping. You ain't been stretching. Now go run. But I think it's really just a mental test because they're not judging anything off of that. I mean, it's 90% of what you put on tape and 10% of that. unless you go out there and run 4.9, it ain't really gonna have a much of an effect. But you get to meet all the other players. How was that?
Like, it was great. Like to actually watching their film and finally see them in person, just see how they act and see how they react to everything. It was just great, and they'll teach a lot too. Just learning from them, from their experience, and everything. It was a fun time hanging with them, though.
Yeah. That's one of the coolest parts I think about the combine is getting to meet your peers. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be with them and competing with them for the next however long you in the league. This will be going into year 12 for me, and I met Pat P at the combine, and we've been going at it ever since. And we good friends, but it's like the first time we ever got to see each other in person was the combine, and it's and 12 years later, same with Prince Amukamara and Jimmy Smith and Buster Screen and a bunch of other dudes who still sticking around. But that's cool, man. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for your family. Save your money. Be careful about that when you get in the league. You want to help everybody. It's hard to help everybody.
I'm cheap. I'm a cheap person.
Stay that way. Stay that way. Please stay that way. It never changed. And keep the people who are around you close, man. If you got any questions for me, anything you ain't sure about, something I experienced, something I saw, I'm happy to give you a little advice, man. I appreciate you spending some time with me.
Sir, thanks for having me.
No problem at all, man. I'll catch you next time.